Hello, friends. Thank you very much for joining in for today's session. Like always, thank you very much for being a part of this career conversation. So, primarily, the intention of these career conversation is to help finance professionals or students who want to grow and enhance in the finance industry or finance domain and such, to get some idea with people who have already done certain things. And as a part of that series, I'll be basically talking to a few of my students who have successfully cleared FRM level 1 and level 2 exam, and I would like to get their feedback, their views, how they cleared the exam, what was the crucial point, what was their technique and all. And with that intention, we have with us Nilesh Jain. He has already cleared FRM level 1 in the last year, and he's going to be appearing for FRM level 2 now. And he's working currently in a very senior position in one of the global investment banks in Mumbai. And so let us start with the discussion. Thank you very much, Nilesh, for giving your time and being a part of this session. So,
My pleasure, sir.
yeah. So primarily, what we are going to be doing now is we'll start out with few questions. So the first question that is in my mind is which I would like you to help with the audience is that what were you doing before your FRM level 1 in terms of your work, your experience, your educational background? If you can give that to the audience, please.
Sure. So I'll start with my educational background. So I did my BCom. I was always a commerce student, so I did my BCom quite a few years back, and then after that I immediately joined a small firm called as Hoffman, where I was doing a mortgage related back office work, right?
Okay.
Post which I moved into an investment bank, Nomura to be precise, and there I started again on the mortgage capital division. So that was again related to mortgage back office, right? Post that, I went into operations. So when obviously Lehman debacle happened, and when Nomura took over, so I moved into the operations team, newly formed operations team at Nomura, and there I was part of the interest rate middle office kind of profile. So after that, I got a chance to set up the bonds middle office in within Nomura, which was something whereby I had to kind of migrate the work from Singapore and Hong Kong. So I started managing that, and post which I also included EMEA in my profile. And recently after that, I've moved into the rates business, so rates middle office. So currently, again, I'm into middle office, profile prior to giving my FRM, and then still now I've moved into the rates side. So yeah, that's my short story.
Great, great, Nilesh. So coming to the point that you have an experience of more than around 10 to 15 years, if I'm not wrong. And the gap that you had from your last education, what was that gap? How much years?
It was 2000. I mean, I remember it was 2011. I cleared my MBA in finance again from NMIMS. Again, that was a 3 years degree. So after that, it took me. I mean, this was a 9 year gap to be precise.
Okay.
9 or 8 year gap, you can say. And then I took my FRM.
Great. So one more quick question that comes to my mind is, what triggered your interest into FRM? Because after you're having a huge gap in terms of your education. So was there any fear, or what primarily triggered you to go for FRM? That's my question.
Yes, there is a sorry, yeah, there's a good small incident rather. I'll tell you is obviously I wanted to upgrade my skills, so I was always looking out for what is this, what skills I need to upgrade to the next level, right? So there were a lot of options. So I was given options like CFA, I was given options like again FRM was an option, but and I had one of my colleagues, senior colleagues, who had cleared both the levels, and I think that time FRM was not that kind of known, so-called. Everyone knew FRM as a financial risk management, and it's something to do with risk. But the marketing was, I think that was not done that well, or maybe rather I was not accustomed to know what is FRM and all. So eventually, what happened is that I got a chance to work with the risk team. So there was a 3 months old, a small short project which happened, and I had to work with in coordination with the risk and the GM guys in our company. And I helped them in certain difficulties or data quality related issues. I think that kind of diverted my attention to the profile which they were managing, and I mean it gave me a lot of interest. And luckily my team was very influential in getting me into FRM, because I knew people like Sunny and who had been part of your previous interaction. So I think they also told me about this FRM related, what's the profile about, and what is an FRM, a person who's doing FRM will do. And at the same time, my project also was there, so I linked both of it. And since it was a very hot topic, I decided to had a conversation with you. I remember that day when I had met you personally, and then after that I decided, yeah, I think FRM seems to be the right choice. And it has a mix of everything. So it has obviously the knowledge of risk, as well as it has financial, market related, or product related information, valuation. So it has multiple concepts which are covered. So it's an overall a good thing to do. And it's very competitive again. So I remember my first conversation with you, uh, and it went like, will I be able to clear? I mean, that was my first question, I remember, or what kind of efforts I need to put in. So I got a good answer from you, that in anything you need to put in effort. Without effort, there is nothing going to happen. So I think that's where I understood that yes, the road will not be that easy. Neither it will be difficult if I don't focus. I mean, if I don't focus, obviously anything will be difficult. So I think that thing made me join, or rather enroll for the level 1 FRM course.
So, I mean, so definitely the commitment that I have also seen from your side was tremendous. And being also in a very senior position in your organization. So, was there a time constraint? How did you manage your preparation throughout the time? So, what was that strategy or anything that people can help with?
Yes. The only thing is now, there are multiple things you can do, right? So, in my case, as you rightly mentioned, since I was a working professional, as well as along with that, I was at a position where I've lost touch to a lot of these concepts, because
Right.
at my level, I mean, people don't perform BAU. So my main thing was to get in that mode, to get that rustiness out of my life. So the first thing I did was that there are two methods you can do, right? So people who have enough of time, especially students and all, I think they have enough of time and they can do it on their own as well. I mean, if they are interested and they know conceptually their financial knowledge is good, they can
Right.
definitely go through online videos, or some uh, material which you get nowadays quite easily, and you can self study, right?
Right.
But people like us, I think it's a bit difficult. Not When I say difficult, is not to get the time out. And to be frank, this is the truth, right? A lot of people will say, "Arey, time nahi mil raha, time is the some constraint." But I feel
Right.
more than time is the interest is what you need to know. See, after having a gap of so many years,
Right.
right? You need to have that. You need to get into that habit of getting disciplined studying time. So getting that time, and it can't be done. I mean, trust me, it can't be done unless you have I would say a coach, or rather even a group for that
Right.
matter, right? If you have like-minded people, at least your discussions will be there. So all I need, I mean, all I did was, I on a daily basis, right from my enrollment to the FRM level 1 course till the time I had my exams, in, I mean, there was not a single day where I didn't discuss any of the topics, whatever they were. I mean, there were
Right.
4 different books I remember. So that is something I did very, and that's my nature. My like, I'm very talkative in that sense. So I keep on kind of discussing things. So that
Right.
thing has to be there, because that keeps you connected. Even if once you get a small break kind of a thing, right? You might not feel interested to study, because you might feel, we've lost so much of time,
Right.
you have so much of portion pending. So that thing plays in your mind. So I think the only thing you need to do is be obviously constantly studying is there. You need to give at least 2 to 3 hours daily, which is, and trust me, where I stay. I mean, I stay in Mumbai, so obviously it's very much possible, because a lot of time when you are going to office or coming, while coming is okay. I feel it's okay. You are already stressed out, but when you're going to office and all, and during traffic hours, and
Right.
you can definitely study. And a lot of things are nowadays available on the mobile phone itself.
Right.
So
I
rather
agree.
than wasting time on all these series, movie and television series, you can invest that rather.
Right.
So I think that's one thing you can do.
And
Second thing is start talking to, I mean, make a group of yourself, of your like-minded people. So luckily in my case, my entire team, which I was managing, was there with me, and we all together gave the FRM. So for me, there was very good support from them. We had a good discussion as a group, and we discussed a lot. And I think that discussion helped us to keep that spark alive. So from the first day itself till the last, I mean, till the exam day, I think there was constant discussions, and even this, and after exams, definitely you discuss a lot about the papers and all.
right, right.
But I think that thing you need to keep alive, because that is what will keep you interested. Otherwise, it's a bit difficult when you're a working professional, and especially when you are actually out of your of the line role, right, or a BAU role. That's what.
So definitely, like you mentioned, having a group or a buddy to whom with you you're going to prepare is definitely going to make bit of a difference, because you keep on talking to that person, you keep on clearing the concepts. Some of the concepts you might not understand, or he might not understand. So that collaboration can definitely help. So that's a wonderful point to make. Now coming to the FRM curriculum. So when you started out your preparation, did you realize, or did you found some topics difficult or some topics easy? So was there any such thing that happened to you?
Yes, definitely. I think that happens with everyone, and not just in FRM, but in any course or any any part of studies you do, or anything in life you do rather. So there will be some parts which you like, and which are easily digestible, and which
Right.
which you yourself know your capabilities. Like for example, I know that I may not be good in understanding theory that much, or remembering theory, because that's my problem always. So I know that for that matter that I won't. But concept wise, if you ask me, yes, concepts is something which I can easily take. Right? Formulas is something which I cannot remember that often, that easy, like that easily. So I mean, you know your pros and cons, or rather you've done your own kind of what should I say?
Your strengths and
Weak
weaknesses, basically.
strengths and weakness, or a SWOT analysis, right? So I think I did the same, and I knew my capabilities, and luckily my group had various or varied kind of people, right? So that helped as well, because if I don't know something, I took help from some other person to understand the concept in that way. And especially in our case rather, I think obviously as I mentioned, we were working professionals. So to get us on track, to have a plan laid out, uh, obviously we enrolled for classes as well. So I think that is I mean, I would suggest 80% of the people who are working, they definitely go ahead and take the class, which is fine. A lot of people will say, "Arey, why classes? You can do it on your own." But I feel it it there are two motives here, right? I think for classes you paid your hard-earned money, so definitely you will put in that effort you require. I mean, a lot of people will say, "Chalo, paisa bhara hai," and a lot of these courses are company sponsored,
Right.
right? For a working professional, I guess, so people don't value that much. So in my case, I think that decision of me joining classes was good, because again I had a good amount of gap, and secondly I needed that trigger from someone to start
Right.
up. And then touch wood, I remember that I never missed any of the lectures. So whatever lectures, be it anything, you don't need to miss out on any lecture. Or even if you miss out, I think you need that eagerness in you, that you immediately call up your friend or colleagues and then get that missing part covered. So all those things has to be there. So these kind of things you need to do, because if you don't do that, obviously that shows your interest in this. So you're just doing it on
So
कि चलो करना है करके. So that should not be all there. And lastly, sorry,
no
this is
problem.
something I always wanted to say, is that never ever think or get bogged down by say कि नहीं होगा, FRM का passing is low, less. Don't ever kind of think about that, because that 50% of the battle is lost when you start thinking on
Right.
those
I
lines.
agree. I agree. I totally agree with that. So definitely you have to be mentally prepared for success first,
Yeah.
and then you will get the success, especially in your these competitive exams, where your mental preparation will definitely help you with the day of the exam. And coming back to the point, so primarily, if I'm not wrong, you faced a lot of problem with statistics initially, and then you casually picked up and you started going through the concepts. You put in a lot of time, a lot of effort on those topics itself first, so that it becomes very clear from your side, right? So, what was your strategy for those difficult topics? primarily.
Yes, it's an interesting one. I mean, I'm definitely, I'm sure that definitely everyone would have got this kind of an opportunity. So it depends. Now you can do it individually. I had seen people doing it individually as well, and
Right.
group. So this is something like solving is something which I did in a group and not individually. Right? A
Okay.
lot of people would study in a group and then they want to solve it on their own. But I did the other way. I mean, I did both in groups. It's not because I was very interactive. So how I used to do it is we used to sit in groups,
Right.
and that is after office. So that effort was within. So I had 2 hours in my house. So I used to prepare or rather study an hour or two, whatever time I used to get in the morning,
Right.
right? Uh, I used to get at least an hour for sure. So hour is something you can spend. But
Right.
after that, after our office was done, I think we made sure that we spend at least an hour within the office and solve the
Right.
papers, or rather not papers but the
Question bank.
question
Right.
set which we used to get which you used to get from you. So I think that is, and obviously the easier ones, or the ones which you know that you can do it, or you're comfortable, I think you can do that alone at your own speed. But things which you feel are difficult, I think you need to do for me it worked because I did it in a group, and what
Right.
benefit it had was that as soon as we did, we used to check the answers and we used to see why it got wrong. Now imagine if you want to do it on your own and alone without, so I mean you might get bored, and imagine you're solving 20 odd questions, and
Right.
on the trot you get 10 odd wrong answers. So you don't have that motivation, you lack motivation, you lack interest, and
Yes.
that is where you start slipping down.
I
So I
agree. I
think
agree.
that's where I got that support from my rather group and my team. So I'm very much thankful to that as well, and I think that concept really worked for me. So it's up to you. It's again, everyone has its own strategy, but that is something which I did uniquely, and in fact my team members also did that uniquely. So
Right.
it
Right.
worked for all of us.
Right, perfect. So definitely studying in a group is going to help. And the way you said, like solving out questions. So this was something new which I've not seen a lot of people doing it. But if that is working for you, and that is helping you in success, then definitely you should follow it. So like what Nilesh is doing, if you also following a particular method, and if you're able to clear your exam, if you feel that you're comfortable in that method, if you stick to that and try to get result out of that side itself. And coming back to the FRM exam now, so in the last 1 month of your preparation, okay, so which includes your last 2 week, okay. So was there anything different that you did? How many mocks you solved, and in total, how many questions you solved? So
Yeah.
that is also one more important point.
Yes. I think in terms of questions is whatever question bank had, I think they had around 2000 odd questions, 2000, 2500. I don't remember that much. But every topic, if you see, it had more than 30, 35 to
Right,
50. Certain, in fact, had more than 100 also. So wherever you have, or wherever the difficulty level increases, I think you need to solve more and more, because that is where the ambiguity is right in the question paper. So that is where that is what will help you, right? So I had to solve everything. So touchwood, in that case, we never entirely we solved that question bank entirely. We never even had a single question left, because it was interesting. See, as and when you give and you try to solve the difficult ones, you get interested.
right,
For the very very difficult ones, or rather for those ones where we couldn't understand how was this actually got solved, and where you have
right,
multiple concepts working at a time. I think there we also took help from Ganesh sir. I think we also had a separate time with him every week, where we had our doubt solving Thursdays or Mondays or whatever we used to schedule. So I think that
right.
helped as well.
Okay.
Secondly, in terms of question bank, yeah, I think there were eight, I think 6 to 8. I'm sorry with my memory, but yeah, 6 to 8 mocks which you suggested.
Yes,
Trust me,
yes.
I did only 4. That's a bad thing. I need to do 8 of that. But the reason I did 4 was that
Right,
I was going very slow. Okay, whatever I was to get wrong, I used to understand why I got it wrong. And I used to discuss also. So again, we used to do that in groups. So most of my study was done in groups. So it helped me. And then once my concept was solved, sorted in my mind, then I moved ahead. And obviously I looked at my formulas, because a lot of people are easy with, people who have engineering backgrounds, they are easily able to mug up,
any
or rather
formulas.
remember those formulas. With my case, I am a bit bad at formulas, so I had to give some extra effort. So which I knew that that is my kind of a weak area. So I worked on that. Similarly, theory is something which you usually keep it for the end, right? But my thing is you keep on timely doing it. The reason is you courses like FRM and all, you will immediately that the theory is so vast in both level one, level two. People say level one is more cons, but it has equal amount of theory. So please don't, give theory the last attention. I would suggest keep on doing it. If you timely, keep on reading, it's as good as a novel or something. You read for your own newspapers. You have a habit of reading it every day. So at least pick up a topic,
And
one
start
single
reading.
topic.
Yeah.
Just start reading it whenever you have some free time, or at least just glance through the learning objectives or the last part or the summarized part of it. Because it also helps you, because that is the summary part. And you also have those cheat sheets which are created by GARP only. It's a 4-pager, 5-pager thing, which you need to, in the last 1 or 2 days, you can go through that. I think that will help you, and obviously, Ganesh sir, will provide you with all those information, or you can get it through Shwezar, Gar,
So
whatever.
as a book, so
So
you
a lot of
primarily
sources are
prefer.
there. So
So
don't
you
worry about that part. But yeah,
Yeah, so you primarily preferred Swazure, right?
yeah,
If I'm not
I
wrong.
did. I went for Shwezar.
So Swazure plus the question
Yes,
bank
yes,
helped you.
yes,
And in the exam, okay, at the time of the
yes.
exam, out of 100 questions, how many questions you was confident that you solved it properly?
Uh, to be frank, I mean, this is again a funny story. So yes, I mean, there's obviously that it's a 100-mark paper, right? So I was confident. I mean, I remember I answered 80 odd questions. I mean, and then the remaining 20, obviously, I solved all the 100, but the remaining 20 were like just okay, my best guess, you can say, because I had hardly some time to solve those. So when I came out, I mean, I was mentally very confident that ye right hai, wo right hai. So when I discussed with people, I found out that certain bits are wrong, certain bits are correct. So uh, to be frank, I was sure that at least 50% I was correct. I mean, I know that's a very low this thing, but 50% confidence I had, because I knew that I had, kind of went through such kind of questions,
Right.
during my this thing. So I was very confident. And the remaining 50, I was not. I can't say I was not confident, but the remaining 50, I knew that somewhere I goofed some or the other concepts here and there, because it's a bit. See, again, level one is a bit more competitive in exams while giving exams also, and the reason is because they have only 4 hours of this thing time. But and trust me, the questions are a bit kind of, you can't solve that entire 100. So that
Right.
pressure is always there. I need to do maximum of it. So
Right.
that
So
will only improve on solving and solving and solving. Yeah,
So
the
definitely
more
the
questions
paper
that you solve.
paper was generally is very lengthy, and it basically tries and tests your patience also, because you have to
Yes.
continuously sit for 4 hours, and not many people are comfortable doing that. So it is going
Mm.
to test that also, and all. And the average that I have also seen a lot of people being able to solve is around 75-80. Nobody is
Mm.
exactly 100% sure. Right? I'm talking about the
Correct.
average guys. Obviously, there will be people who will be solving the entire 100 questions thoroughly, but for an average people, it's 75 to 80 people, 80 questions that they are confident that they've got the right answer. And or it is generally not advisable to go and discuss questions out after the exam, because what happens is that you lose on your morale, and you
Yes.
might
Yes.
get depressed, but at the end of the day you might clear the exam afterward. So definitely that point is important. And like you said, even if you're solving say 70-75 questions, so you should not get depressed, because you are if your strike rate is good, so then
Yeah.
you might end up making a lot of right questions out of that, right? So
Correct.
that is where. And after FRM level 1 exam, you're going to be appearing in for level 2 in the next exam itself. After FRM level 1, is there a change in the way people are interacting with you? Is there a career benefit that you can see both directly in terms of remuneration part, or in terms of the indirect part, where people are recognizing you? All those things, has that happened to you?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
I think when I cleared FRM, I remember my kind of my division head coming to me and congratulating me, and he's like, it's a quite difficult clear. So
Start.
okay, so yeah, so when I remember that when I cleared my FRM level 1 exam, my division head coming to me and congratulating me. I think that kind of respect you definitely will expect, and especially when you are coming from operations background. I mean, middle office background. Rather, I was not even in risk. So yeah, that kind of an attention and respect you will definitely get, and especially when you clear it in your first attempt. Again, make that point that you do that. Apart from that, in personally, you feel a lot of. A lot of time you feel confident in understanding certain complex issues, or you can relate things here and there. So that's something you will definitely feel. And internally you have a confidence that now you can easily crack any kind of an internal posting, or you can
Right.
internal job posting, and you can easily go for interviews outside, and that natural confidence will always come. It's as good as imagine you cleared out of IIM, then now you're trying to look out for a job, and what kind of confidence you will have. So that kind of a feeling you will always have. uh, Apart from that, it also gives you a boost to take up the next level immediately. A lot of
Right.
people I've seen will give some break. Acha, now I'll need to rest and all. But people who are very much eager, or who are
Mhm.
smart, who are very much motivated with the sheer passing of their own this thing in level 1. I think that motivates you for level 2 directly. So what the first thing I did was, obviously I called Ganesh sir, and I informed him, and I informed all my friends and colleagues. But I immediately went on to the GAP website and saw that when is the next time. I mean, when is the level 2
Next level.
registration
Yeah.
starting? So the immediate thing I did was I immediately enrolled for the level 2, because you should not waste any time after level 1 and take a break unless you have some kind of emergency, or some kind of
Right.
professional kind of bondage, or professional attack, some professional related hindrances. But my suggestion is, don't ever take any break immediately, because you are in that momentum. So
I
carry
agree
that
with that.
momentum thing, and then give out the level 2, and definitely you will pass.
Great, great. So thank you very much for your guidance and your sharing your experience throughout the entire process of your FRM level 1. And I'm sure that this experience will be helpful to a lot of students and a lot of people who will be watching this video, so that they can also get motivation to go for the exam. They will also face some problems, in which I think so you have answered their query. So that is wonderful, and especially when you added your personal stories and experiences, that is going to definitely connect to a lot of audience. Thank you very much for that, and thank you very much for being a part of this session. And we hope to see you all in some future sessions also, where we might help, we might need your expertise in doing certain stuff which would help our students understanding about certain topics. Right?
Definitely, sir. Wish them all the best, and thanks a lot for all your time and efforts.
Thank you very much.